Hello, yes, it's me, and I have something to share. Oh, what's that? Ah, nobody cares and or asked. Well, too bad, I'm sharing anyway. Over the last several months, Ratatouille the musical has gotten really big on TikTok and the general internet, which I think is really cool. It's a really cool thing that people are collaborating on to create like this musical story of an existing property that is very good, if I do say so myself. The problem is, I've been doing that with a different property for about 4 years now, because I thought of it and couldn't stop thinking about it when I was like 15, and not very good at any of this. Still I'm not good, but I have some ideas. I think How to Train Your Dragon would make a really cool stage musical. I'm not saying it'd be the easiest thing in the world because, you know, dragons. But I think it would be possible. Less possible to do the other two movies, but it doesn't matter. First one's the best one anyway. The problem is with 4 years of work, I have about 2 songs that are complete with lyrics. And 1 song complete with lyrics. And really bad a cappella accompaniment. So I'm gonna need you to do something for me. If anyone is watching this, take your expectations and lower them. Keep them good and lowered. They lowered? Good? Got it. Awesome. We can continue. So a lot of my vision for this musical, sorry, I keep clicking my a lot of my vision for this musical comes from Shrek the Musical. It also comes from a DreamWorks property. It also has some weird technical stuff you have to figure out creatively, as well as, I don't know if anyone has ever heard of this, because I only heard of it when trying to figure out the concept, is Warhorse, the stage play. That's right, it's a thing. And the puppets that they use in Warhorse for the horses are basically how I imagine you would do Toothless in a How to Train Your Dragon musical. You know, like several different people operating it, and like realistic, but not like realistic, because it's the stage and you suspend your disbelief partially. And that's the main thing you want to get right, is Toothless, because he's, you know, one of the 3 like main characters. And I figured you could do something similar with the other dragons that the other teenagers have, like Hookfang and Meatlug and Stormfly. Maybe even a little simpler, because they just have to really have that one scene where they meet the other teenagers and then they have to fly around a bit. I realized that the Red Death or Green Death, people call it different things, probably because of the book. Wikipedia says red, so I'm going to say red. But I do realize that the Red Death climax would be a feat to do on stage. I think the only way you would be able to do it is changing the plot, simplifying the fight that they have. Like maybe it's just that the other side character teenagers have to like distract it or stay in its blind spot to blind it or something, and then Hiccup and Toothless use some sort of lesson that Hiccup learned while studying dragons, like shooting a fireball into the Red Death's mouth or burning up its wings to keep it from flying, you know, like only 1 or 2 things to defeat it. That would take a little bit of special effects, or maybe even, instead of like full-scale models on a stage, it would be like half-scale models, so it looks like the audience is looking at the fight from far away, so that you just have like a little Hiccup model that falls off the mini Toothless model that's on like a fly system, and you see him fall, and there's like, you know, some smoke machine sparks action as he falls, and Toothless goes to grab him, and then we move everything off so that it's just the regular, more complicated Toothless puppet wrapped around the Hiccup actor, so you have that final scene of realizing Hiccup's lost his leg. Those are the main things that you would have to figure out other than that, I think this is really translatable to do on stage. It's mainly humans that can just be looking off in the distance at dragons or something. Or do a little bit of projection, a little bit of miniature models on fly systems, something like that. I do have an outline, a sort of treatment of all the songs that I would put in, that I have been planning out. May not be any good. Remember, lowered expectations. So the first song, the opening number, would be This Is Burke. Of course, I don't know what else you would name it. Very similar to the opening scene because it's a really good opening scene. And I would actually want to model this song with its melody taken from the This Is Burke track from the movie score. I'm using John Powell's amazing score because it has a really good score that I think encompasses the tone of the movie really well, and I think you can utilize that in some of these. So it would just be introducing the Vikings as, cutthroat and hardened fighting dragons or whatever. After This Is Burke, after Hiccup and Stoic's exchange, I would want Hiccup's I Am song, sort of soliloquy to the audience, to be something called Little Me. This is another one that has mostly finished lyrics, and it's just going to be him lamenting over how his father sees him, and it's going to have some recurring ideas and melodies. After that, once we're introduced to all the characters in that first scene, and after maybe Hiccup and Stoic try to talk to each other and it doesn't go so well, I would have a scene where Hiccup is at Gobber's Forge doing his work, and Astrid comes up to get an axe sharpened or whatever. Similar to a cutscene from the original movie, where Hiccup talks to Astrid and she's kind of like, okay, I didn't come here for this, but a little bit of bonding because she's forced to be there. So he sings his part of the song, A Father's Pride, one of the most finished songs that I have. He sings about, what frustrates him about his father. While on, I imagine the other side of the stage, like the stage is split into two, Stoic is talking to Gobber, like in the their gathering hall sort of thing, and Stoic is singing his part of A Father's Pride, about what frustrates him about Hiccup. After that, I would continue similar to the movie with Hiccup seeing the Night Fury and taking it down with his weird machine. And after he takes Toothless down, he goes to basically all of the gathered Vikings around and the other teenagers and sings Out of Nowhere, another almost finished song, where it's basically him bragging about how, look, I've finally done something. Will you accept me now? Except he's interrupted by Stoic, who says he must be mistaken, or someone else who's like, yeah, sure, which causes him to go and find Toothless. Next, we move on to Gobber's training of the teenagers and Stoic enlisting Hiccup in dragon training. This would result in a song aptly named Dragon Training. I think of it in my head as sort of a 10 Dual Commandments from Hamilton type song, like Gobber's listing the rules that you have to follow, the things that will help you fight a dragon while there's, screaming fire behind it. Next, I would like to sort of have that scene in the movie where all the teenagers are gathered around a fire talking about killing dragons, but extend it and have them all sing Follow in the Footsteps, a song that I imagine would be them each having a verse saying their reason for wanting to fight dragons, whether it be because they want to make their parents proud, they have nothing better to do, they want to feel tough, whatever. But then, of course, Hiccup would sneak away, making Astrid suspicious. The next song is Forbidden Friendship, which is the title I got from, again, the name of one of the tracks from the score, which is, the hand touching the snout moment, Hiccup finally learning to trust Toothless, and Toothless learning to trust Hiccup. This would probably be one of the slower, less upbeat moments in Act 1. The next one would be Among the Clouds, which I imagine happens after Stoic gives Hiccup the helmet that's made from his mother's breastplate, and I imagine Hiccup has a moment of trying to remember his mother and singing a song that she sung to him as a baby. So it would be very much like a lullaby, sort of foreshadowing him being able to fly on a dragon and be different from his people like his mother did. Staging of this, I imagine you could even do Hiccup on one part of the stage, singing to a helmet basically, being all melancholy, and then another part of the stage, a sort of flashback of his mother with him as a baby, singing the song alongside him. This song, I also imagine, is like the main theme of the franchise, basically. The da 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 da. I'm not doing more because content ID, but I imagine it would be like a slower version, a slower, quieter version of that. So then when you hear that theme, it's his mother. The next song in my outline is Open My Eyes / Opening My Eyes. Haven't exactly figured it out yet. And it's basically the love ballad between Hiccup and Astrid. You gotta have it, you know? I imagine similar to A Whole New World in Aladdin on Broadway. You know, you have the toothless puppet, or more of a like set version of the toothless puppet that they sit upon and they sing about how their opinions of each other have changed, kind of thing. After this, like in the movie, they would follow a herd, a swarm, a flock, a group of dragons to the Cave of the Red Death, and then I would have the Red Death song play, which is sort of a like haunting lullaby that the Red Death sings to the other dragons as a representation of its pull, of its influence over them. So it could be like a mirror to the Among the Clouds lullaby, but it's all creepy and wanting them to give it food and stuff. And so with the discovery of the Red Death comes the end of Act 1. Act 2 I would have beginning with Little Me, the reprise, where Hiccup is at his like final exam type thing where he has to kill the monstrous nightmare in front of everyone. But he sings this song, sort of coming into himself and realizing that he's not going to kill this creature. He drops his weapons, all that. But sort of a resigning himself to who he is, because who he is not a killer of dragons. But then after Hiccup does this and Toothless is revealed, Stoic and Hiccup have that heartbreaking interaction where he basically disowns him. I would have the first reprise of A Father's Pride, which is also written, and it's basically Stoic being really upset about this and unsure what to do. Then we would have the dragon killing song, which I just imagine as a sort of war song for all of these Vikings who are going off to find this dragon nest and kill everything in it. This one is one of the ones with the least amount of work on it. After this low point, we're going to need something a little more upbeat to pick everyone up. So then I have the Flight Before the Fall, one that is also mostly written, which is Hiccup calling the other teenagers to arms and saying that even if you give up, you have to give up fighting. And they all join in and they're ready to go save some people and all that. Woohoo. And we move to the dragon's nests with all these ships and stuff, except at the stage, so probably like maybe 2 big ship set pieces, but whatever. And then Hiccup almost drowns or something along those lines where he has to be saved by Toothless, making Stoic see him in a different light, and then Stoic will sing Father's Pride, the second reprise, which is him finally being like, you are my son, I shouldn't have said otherwise, sort of thing. So we have the big Red Death confrontation, and there are different ways you could do that. Like I said before, they were really stylized or whatever, but that's not the important part. The important part was the moment between Hiccup and his father anyway. That's the main conflict resolution. I don't want any song or anything. I mean, maybe like instrumental, but I don't want like any lyrics or anything for when Hiccup wakes up and finds that part of his leg is gone. Just because I really, really love that moment to be kind of quiet and contemplative. So I'd probably just play the melody of the Forbidden Friendship song over it while he and Toothless sort of process that they have something even more in common now. And then the final song to close out the show would be This Is Berk Reprise, which now it's about the people of Berk accepting change and knowing dragons and living with them, basically. So real quick, here is the most I've done on a song, which is A Father's Pride. Maybe if you didn't have such a hard head, maybe if you could finally see sense. He's so stony, so serious, can't put his feelings into words. He is forceful, he's mysterious, so hard-headed it's absurd. He always acts like I should be just like him, born to wield an axe. But again it seems his force is exactly what I lack. He's so timid, so thoughtless, one day he'll have to learn. He's unruly, he's defenseless, pride is something he must earn. He doesn't seem to see I'm at a loss here, not like my father was. So whenever I reach out, I get caught up in the crosshairs. He's oversensitive, small-minded, and competitive. He's willfully inclined to not look my way, too stubborn to admit it. Father's pride is hard enough to find. I wish I could see inside his mind. I don't know how to fake it. I don't know if I'll make it. Guess we're stuck with each other, because I never know what to do with a little thing called a father's pride. But when all is said and all is done, all is said and all is done, a father should be proud of his son, should be proud of his son. He's venerated, he's so forceful, his courage crushes mine. He's so confident, overbearing, doesn't help he's 6'9". Just when it seems he's close to caring, he runs right off the track. I managed to summon up some words, and then I saw his back. He won't listen, he's not serious, his mistakes could cost his life. What he's missing, it's essential, doesn't fail to cause me strife. I've never been the best at emotions, it hurts me to try. If it can't be understood, it's easier to fight. He's oversensitive, small-minded, and competitive. He's willfully inclined to not look in my way, and too stubborn to admit it. Father's pride is hard enough to find. I wish I could see inside his mind. I don't know how to fake it, I don't know if I'll make it. Guess we're stuck with each other, because I never know what to do with a little thing called a father's pride. But when all is said and all is done, all is said and all is done, a father should be proud of his son, should be proud of his son. Wish I could see through his eyes, know what's happening in his brain. It's not that I think that he lies, just think he's insane. A father's pride could be more kind. Everywhere he goes, I fall behind. I know I can make it, I no longer can take it. Sometimes I miss my mother. Father's pride to me was never kind. What can I do so he's not left behind? How hard must he make it? What if could he take it? Perhaps he needs his mother. I never know what to do. But a little thing called a father's bride. When all is said and all is done, a father should be proud of his son. Wow, it sucks. Anyway, I've gotta go. Sorry. And that's all I got. I am not a composer, but I'm not gonna lie, I've had some fun contemplating this for so long. I just thought it'd be fun to share it. I don't know if anybody cares. If you did, thank you for watching. And give me some brainstorming in the comments. Unless it's mean, because you know I'm fragile.